Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Bosso. To our earmarked funds capping and realignment amendment bill. Ain't you know, get fund, Oma Cape, National Health Insurance Levy, Oma Cape, any other ones, Nina, and where do ma and one more year, it's say those levies no. Yeah, for a purpose. Yeah, yes, MPP are buying a fan quadrubosia, womunche, any na on mine mu embre. Divine, my high.
I will be a dear.
Any will be so you will be so dear pa. Any what about the annual bar since Tuesday after budget me knew Shiana unamu to say.
Namia do me be able call.
A dinamias be able call.
Aye.
Aye.
Namia do. Let's even complain.
Oh, yeah, you won't call our dear na.
Sabe pepe.
Into be beard and aqua taught.
Sabe pepe.
Okay. But what is that? Can Ofori test you national security so me invade the fee?
They did come a mitcha at T4. Any ashafoni na omo share. No momuti and Kogana Fanny, and I remember about so a new production team also.
It does.
Na and na mete sa kind of Atta story na say the cocoa pie inti akwa see the National Security Bureau say o invade ne private residence or demand sikakra or make demands.
Okay. Akese.
Now we are see what I say. Sometimes no unu bi ya de na umbu na ofili say or important to change wa emrano depending on how ono ohunu no ena obeye ama ofili say say no pen na ebeko on say on one hand reckon for Atta say oyare it is the same emrana ye hwehwe no amana babe answer questions because of enyema bi oye ya igidi say anko yi epe answers no or the yare aye excuse se si ade o se ne ho aton wo ba bi o se obetimi asiu so ye hia no amana ba answer questions a papa no so yare wadi ye mbone na ye se ombra no ba chirechire si wo so no no de ye ko ne fie ne ye se ye bone henya kakra de ahwehwe ne memu a o se ne kokọ apai o siu ahwodin man no nya ye ono de odi siu na hodin no no when you odi siu the same system no mbra no onya we him because mbra na ye hwehwe no a ono de o ma excuses no
through the legal team
and the same legal team now so no use to go after others say o siu obi no enti no media sometimes no on say o hwe sania ye handle these people are momu grow horns and they are feeling too overly important to change some of the people share on reckon of Atta we and there or sini buafua or see be invading the privacy into okosiu no. Do you know what they did to people in this country? A minister for energy John Jinapo omubo run fear how much kete ekoje in laptop ekoje in phones or send the sakra sample anka. What is okosiu obi?
No, a deputy
minister put that time. What is okosiu obi?
Debbie.
She aya monfra akogan
ya
akogan te ka mu awia kete na abronya mu crossing no na mo je ka ne fini so so ma fama ne biu ka ne si ono ma ne proye John Dumelo o kai se ne ka ho ba asem no so omo azumi yo ti o omo azumi ye se John Dumelo drive car obi na aban car enu so mo ko G Rambo Star what is say obi se wakosi obi
Kofi Adams mu nyina
obi nyina ya de hwe Bande Mustafa Bande ni fie because of politics e bu ni nyina eni ewie na ebe ye omo share that the excuse by say assembly no na de ebe on se sankrofo mu omo feel say omo de okoto de ne bodwe yenya nkyira na on de no ho etanti enfa ba enfa mbo na pampem eba ne sign ne anu an say na amben e na mo de o feel say o kanofori atabo app for ye time so a ana say bi some questions a mo de mo mpre na mo time no na mo di bone hwe o say na nabi edi what letter they come media general for say retract and withdraw some publication bi na defamatory and yes I be see you when there be what the heck ono ye hwan ono fili so ye hwan no de ono osibi osi obi o maka no asem ben na watch ade ni mu ono mu a osi falsehood ono ma wan correct on say why blatant a statement no chokoma media general no why no obi be say evasive and why no open details bia anim osi obi aka asem on withdraw then on withdraw the person is telling you that you worked as a deputy director at the National Service Secretariat. Is it true or not? One answer. You see, but katashishane proyene dream any cked bi akoso around that time. Odi anima chiremwe. Osu koko apa obesiu media general West media for West African Foundation.
I
so omo obesiu Brahma Suleiman
Media Foundation for West Africa.
Media Foundation for West Africa for omo ba besiu omo Nana B buefu so oba besiu. You see all these people. Chale me ache.
Or here apology. So demand for apology for peddling defamatory publication by Media Foundation for West Africa on TV3.
And I make us say, ni letter na e buy no. O hwemu a details bia ni made no se defaming wo ho no ewe he.
Okay, the tia say omo defaming no say me go through say as part of the publication our client's name into the legal no our client's name and image were published as one of the people who managed the NSS now known as the National Service Authority from 2017 to 2024. So names na eba no. On say Media Foundation for no Suleiman Brahma mo say omo investigation started from 2017 na eba. Enti ghost names no so we go through almost started Pompeii Edigumu 2028 eba no.
Maybe 2021.
A Media Foundation for you know.
Almost started from 2017.
2017. Okay. Yeah. So 2017 almost started. And I watch say sa we no mo year no because Afedo Kansi show so and Ibrahim Brahima Suleiman Brahima breakdown no ya na watch from 2017 Mustafa Yusuf and another director and another B
and an B ni give to worry and no me deputies. Inti emu de we na yentro
se o se adentina TV3 ma Suleiman Brahima mo e ma ni be showcase that publication no e wo mo platforms o mo gu nanimu ase enti o mo mpa ne chew won
say sankrofo we mu o mo sorry a is the same trick they do obo wan so aba no abetro letter become an apology hwensi all because o pese o man followers for no e feel say o you right me omo unim dano na bi e be press conference be to explain why publication no doesn't make sense and na on tiasie enema bi wono mu a ento yi na ma mi bisa wo enti omo sesie nyina ya agi atum admit say na ghost names bi wo hono je gidi say sika bi wo hono mu a akofa nkrofo esase entu asika no mi bisa wo se nyina agi tumu a enti wan mu na na wo hono mu a e hya ase a sa ghost names ni be hye mu eno de mu pese e be discuss they only said the same thing happened here under a sports minister, deputy sports minister, a Sojaman guy, if anything.
Deputy sports minister. Oh, Australian.
Pious,
and I'm Hajide.
Unim say, yet say, you didn't conform to Munya journalists, and conform qualifies or make us a trip. It was admitted. But Nipoya and the Nipan say, no, me one other person was in charge. It's a wine. Unim says anama wo nyina na ekoso na me say MPP for we mu omaye omadwin say omumbu Ghana fo omaye omadwin say adwin a ewo omu nko omu trimu no ya adwin kese che obia nti omu de be ye wo de ye omu mpene last time ne tia say na ne ye ka on record say won say sometimes when MPP for no omu dele na we say obe go by their terms and conditions in the way omu operate omu niama na omu do ba ko hye de chimu because omu no mu plan game plan bi a omo be distortive facts dia say niama odu omo so anoma di ubone Go and check the records. Also last time they were complaining about say about we buy was sacking Crawford, was revoking Crawford appointment letters in the account. Why would this house to buy the buy on bachelor's and all of a sudden don't pay some church must be in jai. Me no kasa se see who kai say Kufuor buy adia unim say adia friend of fast track high court only ni of setting up first. So no be your fast and then jelly JJ Rollins abusuafo ne nkofo no mu adwuma Victor Solomon oxygen bonachi ni adene nam kuri ko be fa so be jelly no because yes we be setting up fast track high court on me fa bone nche ya de dimu na Atamos baaye o kai Atamos baaye no be father for all Atamos baaye o see yo MCs ni DCs yenja omomu nya adwuma more than 6 months yen nyina Ghana for so obesa kaya owura Kanoforiata ye scandal be by between Kanoforiata company and Snit ye friend no Obotan scandal. Kanoforiata was almost going to jail for that thing. Unim say okobun kotodwe ewo Johnny Vance Atamos enim and Atamos ka say o Ghana ni on fan channel because company no manage no Ghana for na adwuma ho no me enhwe be fa so a ye be protect Atamos a protected data bank gu and then the same person got an opportunity to come to power ono the oba ye no the same magnanimity no benefit ye no the benevolence no of others no the or ye beneficiary no edu ni so no o si di kokwa apai ompene no one enough he went after them and obegugu omu nyina mu be businesses omu ye ne te say ne even ne kinsmen and ne tribesmen ne kromufuo so we ne kromu ni no aye chen na say bebia wadu no mpa u business not in the saba beka and these people are here and them ma be gina no ma beka kire ye say obi na bi say okokot ye be san so atia obi say ni koko apai
ya wura ni fie
no do ye why now hwe unim say me some of these people obi to say Kanoforiata say me to say these comments these are remarks we if in court say ba na me bu afu. He's a wicked man. This guy doesn't deserve mercy from anybody because oba no ashatale white no aba be quotation no Bible mu no the friend pen na echire no odi diboni hwe time wa Dr. Indum omuka so mba be revoke GM Bank license and ibufu yo de aban na akoko to no odi Bank of Ghana any government of Ghana akoko to no no ma fa chire no ma suma iyokofo any event saying BN9 crop for aba no office computers o nyina omo be sisa nyina akoye omo be sisa data without me wa na say no court omo so omo mpeni and now me no ka say Kanoforiata we osi ni koko apai Dr. Indum unim say na the banks na omo operate no private company no omo renting banks no from omo operate bank no the receiver through Kanoforiata way almost seize assets ni nyina o toilet come say bank na nyane dia makrosu bank na mo release in conform no dan fa mo and now me no ka say receiver ene na busuafo etete sa dan na mu o ma gidan no ya the case ni kokota omo ma
just omo gu banks ni san so take bank
obi bia je nyom dia kro omo giye hwe
it is a heritage bank ya alaji agongo bank ya ba ko na si jowoli enti chesa sa land ne so ni property ne so nyina ni nyina omo fae
who be so man omo account for hwe unim says the same matter in 2020 the first Dr. Indum Bank of Ghana any government of Ghana court no na ye be judgment fair judgment na kebeba on the 20th of November in 2020 these same people ekoye and omo sere court no omo case no esanso travel year to 2023 omo frustrate ye do kojina court no ma sesa omo nyama basabasa such elements such characters in crofo we mu na se omo ende emram po ne mran ne omo di mo fie mo ba obi a nwu obi a ya nya obi ahwe na eja mo ne ekwa o Kanoforiata ye hwehwew yi mo di esika SM mo wia esika kronfo sei na mo ye ba machi ye be hwehwe ye niama o so yare eja o ya cry when complaining here maybe my I story be no one send nkrofo bi mu o ma dwenti o ma jimi
eh to
sebi me dey ma no sisu mi na so hwe unim say madam fo girl bi e na current dan tio single room e no te ho na single room na dan ni mu a ote no wa manage ya na madam fo girl so ono ne ba ya pam won ba bi o mote mu ni ba bi o mote e na o say na girl now no single room no so okay me dem ni baby tia o no ba no mumbra metra me single room ni manage na girl na high down no 2 years watena mu almost 1 year and na juma when ya juma for nya transfer from Accra to another region so on konko ya juma o be kono ka kire wa oti dan ni mu say because work na work at so open dan ni bia high no so so be ko dia and ye ne dan no so o be ko nti so da be nya juma na no adwuma no friend wa fa dan no ne tua balance edema no unim say girl nya adwuma na obekọ ne transfer na obekọ no obisa na danfo no ne ba ne te wonum say obekọ nti dan balance na be ne de o ka che ne say dan mu so ama no dodo no ndo peche me ho nti ne dan no nti mi nche nti on de o tena no ma hwehwe dan foforo once I show once your man show say o si onu tena sa ne dan na o si eso anu mu e de ahwehwe dan foforo nti o ma ne time once na grofo bi bu nkrofo kwasia no mu believe say o wo de wunim nyansa but onu no nim nyansa onu no wagimi. It's the same thing and these people no they feel so important to say omo chenga na fobi nti omo de omo asem yembo so yembo omo chem so
because Devine so wo hwe de Ghana 8 years ni ena enyesa president Mahama ba power ena figures no ye ebetodwa ye hu eye figures ya buruswa banking cleanup exercise ya na banks ye hia 9 billion ya kwa akoboka 26 billion edaho so hu and then ohwe national cathedral your friend say Ghana Revenue Authority issues bia eno ebebe oni GCB no mu ni ade that transfer bi no entinanka de Ghana for hwe kwan say o mu say the way Ghana your governance institute no enye buga gidigidi butu fia but na kan for hwe kwan say President Mahama take over na after week kura no I was saying who action
sa pepepe na
enti on say na bi national service say or portray as if say or you innocent
no but you see even if we are innocent me pese ya me prejudge and I say me preconceive na me dey crofo akoto time so onye hwe kra na yese waye. My point is that on say what the bone and I say bibia sia na say ohu so na hwe twinsi ya allow the processes to work. Me tell this here minim bia na say state institution bia be frame ya me sro machi o frame ya meba me nya hwe so wonya hwe ya what is your fear then na usro into him say na ade na omo ye ni nyina no it is just to whip up momentum at the grassroots level because see no omo grassroots for ni na
prepare
omo for them to think say obi can some tie o hwe letter ni mu a what I was expecting is hwe me uni ma dey America this thing you have said is not true. I was tie yes we adwuma from 2017 to 2020 no state wo honum it is not true. I didn't work from there from ebia 2017 to 2020 na mokano this figure na mokano me ni wasa me ni moshi then let them bring it and I apologize what be try them no say asem no he didn't work there meanwhile he didn't state any basis behind it.
I can say he didn't work there o say a publication nearby you know set ghost names no from 2017 to 2024 and then the said publication further alleged that in 2018-2019 when our client was at the National Service Secretariat 49,895 ghost names were added to the list of personnel for that period resulting in a financial loss of 242 nana bi mabokro no just ghost names for 49,895 no just sikanko a o man hwere ye 242 million Ghana cedis but nana bi ni say allegation no completely false na wo ho was it na wo ho but that allegation na Media Foundation for West Africa put you out omo de ba ya omo sa akogina TV3 network so publish ye no false.
And when I make a child say, which one is the truth? It is your fancy 4,000 something ghost names, and you think that is not true. And state the record, state what the fact is.
Okay.
What am I say?
Okay.
I to say is my betrano no catch say me chance see unza me buy maka in some be say Dr. Ndum see yes see against Kenufuriata. Na Kenufuriata say otemin can say my beka sawa cry FM say my beka nsem see na enye no kre nti no kre na ye de wen beka no kre no na ye hu say wo di ntro na wunja ne saa say enye no kre. Which one is the truth? And it's the same thing no mututu nsem no edigu ewie mu so mo saa nkrofo we mu bo mo kro no mu wia mu sika ewifuo we man consider dan fofo man consider busuafo man consider say muni mobi mun kwa na mudidi ye mun kwa because mo na mo hu mo de mo nyansa wona na bi we ubedi youth organizer bedi national organizer why you big man ahia na wedi unu say wo at this your age wo say untimi ni obi ntena show so as a discussant and as a guest so they will pay no akwa one-on-one interview because of a boss manya sikanti munyina nso ehu mu ma discuss we awie na me de me won sa full soldiers for na omo wo backyard ho na fichire na omo kro omo mbo na ma anya hwe no ye beda be sorry no omo se omo kwakwa ma se app and omo kwakwa gina ba bia kwa edidi se ye de obi kwakotum wo ko gina no e bo ma wo gimi na ye be mo abo ma intimidate me Sasem we about Orakan of Rata we no say Okosiu no it is neither here nor there. Only omo suba ni omo traits no omo show Ghana for some arrogance no omo disrespect omo feelings omo domi ni pachen obi omo de omo tumi de bonnie de obi the same bon no be the video omo de omo nim law court say na gabi kai say omo de omo busua de omo nananum de omo ko school nti omo adwe omo abie chen yen mo nti de omo tumi gi appointment obi kwaji bia omo se family and friends no ye nyina ye wa ha yenyi na ye wa ha nti no work no frata no obetumi akwa kosiu eno de obi an stop no but you should remember say yesika on ho enam no so minor sika wedi o mine bone eno de min ko gina baby mpo kan say e bia onko kotie eniama ya hwere na nyensa manfo na ye nipa na aye nipa no so no da institution na no nti no so no ye hwehwa no yenga na fo hwehwa no si hwehwe sika no fa mbre na so yare a otumi fa ne yare ni nya excuse entina brochi na on the other hand no otumi sanso ngina baby so no de Ghana Ghana institution court for when we were asking the same reasons I hwehwe no on the obi court wo ho it doesn't make him more important than us. We are looking for him also.
And I say okay, yamra a betting budget ni issues a free eba.
Okay, me that say unim about the budget no adeba ko me de budget ni mu a the finance minister here a demonstration kon say he was straight to the point. Unim say one fan sem no am me maya like o kan sem say nyete pepepe na o sanso kire mu say sisia no fans na ya allocate to the various ministries no obesa eja ama sector ministers for nankasa no ma breakdown of how they want to expend budget and allocations at their mom, and it makes sense. Adeba kunso a oye ya manage ho no say once wa ma enya twon maybe on ma be koti bible sem bia o ho no ma be kan sem bia on say obi pese o mbo we po no koti bible no wi awasan so abodu aguso mi wa no odi ntro enye no bi na minister be ye na minister be representation no adeba ku bi edasron kuma me a na me de and me betena akae before all babeko into the budget details nangasa no odikan esheda the real state of economy no inherited from the previous government no, and that was profound. And then magana for whom bebia situation na ye wo mu into some of the things no kind highlights of my not even say the economic situation of the country and healthy it's not in a good position at all. It's srene be ka say aban no mbra na omumnya niam ebe magana for one atom na onim asem akol okaya na emede and say e bosha aban no hihye ne niam bibiro mu keka ye so mbe ya na ejidi say ebia it wasn't possible no sana mani nyina no or touching no kakra magana for who say no aban no ebeye na before who kai say sa accounts are omobeto ye for instance sinking fund
so there's what we call the general
na Mahama ebefi aban mu 2016 at least aban so aban governance is a continuum obi ba oba inherit assets and liabilities. In the case of MPP4 omo kono liabilities are omo di ja Ghana or man Ghana say in terms of a car or how near bebrese no more than a japadi and assets are omo di ja. So imagine say in 2016 Mahama efi power no sinking fund na sika waja omu over $300 million. Say Ghana mine engine fan born ho bena. Abai for MPP4 by normal call in 2024. Sika mu ja omu 64,000 Ghana cedis.
Dollars 100 and
Heritage Fund.
Sinking fund no.
Sinking fund. Yes. And $64,000.
And I say 100 and something thousand Ghana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Omo disikano. Unim say Heritage Fund sika. Omo jano kujo to hwinim. Esla in 2015 ena Mahama ede Esla bae enu say me say I was one of the people I be born chobo ye de say eto no. But na adwempo eta echi say yes energy sector no eka adokro o man no enti no ye de Esla babe se na be ya eka bia o ho bia no ye betumi dia clear eka no dia fi ho.
Okay, yeah, and Sunny about us, my minfa video in trim. Budget name.
Okay.
On say NPP fund.
And he started forming his government and started keeping faith with the people of Ghana and fulfilling his promise to operate the leanest and most efficient government in the history of the Fourth Republic. Elements within the opposition have sought to spread falsehood. Well, since President Mahama assumed the position of President of the Republic of Ghana, and he started forming his government and started keeping faith with the people of Ghana and fulfilling his promise to operate the leanest and most efficient government in the history of the Fourth Republic. Elements within the opposition have sought to spread falsehood and engage in deliberate disinformation with a view to whittling away the good road that President Mahama has naturally won from the people of Ghana because of the way that he's doing things. So first it started with Honorable Atpujinapo, who claimed that President Mahama has appointed 100 presidential staffers and is only seeking to make up for the shortfall in ministers by appointing more presidential staffers. Then lately, Dr. Gideon Boaku, who incidentally has worked in the office of the president before, under the office of the vice president, went out to spread gratuitous falsehoods about the composition of the staff of the office of the president and the monies allocated to the office of the president. Now, the office of the president is made up of a number of entities. So there's what we call the General Administration, Office of the Chief of Staff, Vice President Secretariat, Cabinet Secretariat, Press Secretariat, and then Policy Coordination and Delivery Units. These are the units that make up the office of the president. In addition to these units, there are other government agencies that fall under the office of the president. So together we call them Office of Government Machinery. Under the MPP, the Office of Government Machinery had 26 entities. That is if you add the units under the office of the president. That number was made up of a number of agencies. The list is before me, I could go through all of them. But they created new entities. Coastal Development Authority, Middle Belt Development Authority, IPEP, the one that used to be headed by Howard Kumsin as a whole ministry before it was moved under the office of the president. And then there's also the Northern Development Authority, the Zongo Development Fund, and what have you. Because President Mahama reduced the number of ministries from 30 to 23. Some agencies that used to operate under the collapsed ministries have been moved to the office of the president for budgetary purposes. Because when the budget is being prepared, the staff of those agencies have to be accounted for. That accounting has to go through a mother agency. So for instance, there was a Ministry of Information, which was headed by a minister. It had 76 directors and staff, civil servants. That ministry doesn't exist anymore. So all the directors and civil servants have left. There's no such thing. Some of them have been reassigned. Now the president appointed me as his spokesperson and Minister of State for Government Communication. That means that all the agencies that used to work under the Ministry of Information have had to come under my jurisdiction. There are some of them who are state-owned enterprises, like the Ghana Publishing Company Limited, Graphic Communication Group, and New Times Corporation. They are state-owned enterprises, so now they fall under SIGA. But the Ghana News Agency, for instance, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, the Information Service Departments, and what have you, fall under me. Now, the staff of these organizations are civil servants who have to be paid. Let me add that President Mahama has not employed a single civil servant in addition to what he came to meet. So the civil servants under these organizations, their salaries have to be catered for. In addition to these three organizations that I have mentioned, because the National Security Ministry was collapsed, now the National Security Council, or the National Security Secretariat, the Research Department, which is an arm of the Security and Intelligence Services of Ghana, the National Signals Bureau, and the National Intelligence Bureau, which used to be called the BNI, all now operate under the Office of the President. So it is the salaries of these staff that are now being catered for under the Office of the President. So when you see 2.7 billion, it is the salaries of these staff plus all the other agencies that form the Office of Government Machinery that is reflected in that number. For example, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation has 1,115 staff. The Information Service Department has 1,309 staff. The Ghana News Agency has 133 staff. When you put it together, that is 2,557 staff. The salaries of these people for, the year 2025 is being catered for through the Office of the President. They will be paid by Controller and Accountant General's Department, as all other public and civil servants are paid. But for budgetary purposes, they will be catered for under the Office of the President. The staff of National Security Council or National Security Secretariat, Research Department, National Signals Bureau, National Intelligence Bureau receive the same treatment. So it is not that the Minister for Finance has allocated 2.7 billion Ghana cedis to President Mahama to squander. No. All the 30 agencies that operate under the Office of the President now have their salaries going through the process that is outlined in the budget. So the 2.7 billion is for them. It is not for President Mahama's use. Now, despite these numbers, who are civil servants, not political appointees, as far as political appointees are concerned, President Mahama has appointed 27 presidential staffers, and 3 directors. Today, when he swore in the deputy ministerial nominees and the Minister of State for public sector reforms, he said it. 30 staff. We are in the process of recruiting support staff, but they will come nowhere near the 336 that the MPP had just before they left him. So now when you come to savings, the part of the budget which is discretionary in nature, that government can decide what to spend on. Now mind you, salaries and compensation, that is item 1. When at the end of the month, the government looks at its account, the first thing it thinks of is the salaries of civil servants. That one is fixed. It is not flexible. You can't do anything about it. It's almost statutory. But the part of the budget which is discretionary, if you look at the figures carefully, if you look at the MPP's figures, in the year 2024, just last year, an amount of 924,143,874 cedis was allocated for goods and services under the Office of Government Machinery. This year, an amount of 847,964,846 Ghana cedis has been allocated for goods and services. That is a reduction of 76,179,028 Ghana cedis. Despite the fact that other agencies have been brought here, the goods and services budget, which is discretionary expenditure, has been reduced. If you go to what we call capital expenditure, CapEx, another item that falls under discretionary expenditure, last year, under President Akufo-Addo, 612,486,000 440,588 Ghana cedis was allocated to the Office of Government Machinery, whose composition I've already explained to you. This year, from that lofty 612 million Ghana cedis, 269,755,853 Ghana cedis has been allocated for capital expenditure under the Office of Government Machinery, which is a saving of over 345,322,441 Ghana cedis, if you put that together with the savings that are coming from goods and services. So indeed, because of President Mahama's commitment to operating a lean government, we are seeing a significant reduction in the amount of money allocated to the Office of the President for discretionary expenditure. What Ghanaians criticized President Akufo-Addo was the excessive misuse of public funds in discretionary expenditure. His travel budget alone, at some point in a particular year, was 68 million Ghana cedis. For the first 6 months of a particular year, 68 million Ghana cedis. That has not happened under President Mahama. So the desperate effort by the likes of Dr. Gideon Buaku and Abu Jinapor to seek false equivalence in order to equalize for the clearly irresponsible governance of President Akufo-Addo and the flagrant waste of public resources will not wash. We are aware that disinformation, blatant falsehood, and gratuitous lies are parts of the MPP's armory when it comes to waging a political battle against their opponents. But we stand prepared. As Minister of State responsible for government communication and spokesperson for the President, it is my duty to correct such misinformation. That is why I have found it necessary to engage you, the good people of Ghana, through this medium to explain the issues to you. So, 1, 11 billion Ghana cedis has not been given to President Mahama. 2, the monies that Dr. Gideon Buaku is referring to are monies going to the payment of civil servants who have been placed here because their mother ministries have been collapsed. By collapsing the mother ministries, President Mahama has made savings on the monies that would have been used to run the ministries. For instance, the Ministry of Information had 76 directors and officials. Because the ministry doesn't exist anymore, we don't have to provide vehicles for those officials. We don't have to provide office space. We don't have to pay the minister a salary. We do not have to provide the minister with a Land Cruiser and a saloon car. We don't have to give the minister a bungalow. The minister's office will not have to be set up. We don't have to give the minister support staff because of that. Now, because of the scrapping of the ministry, now there is myself, there's Shamima Muslim, my deputy, there's Sam Aprat, who is the press secretary to the vice president, and an administrative staff of 3 and 2 other people who help us manage the entire communications of both the presidency and the entirety of government communications. And this is done by barely 7 people. Again, it is not true that I have been allocated a total of 78 million Ghana cedis to manage government communications. That is false. What it is that all the 3 agencies who now have been made parts of the Office of Government Machinery, or who are now under the Office of the President, their goods and services budgets and their capital expenditure budget is what you see there. As for myself, my deputy, Amma Pratt, and the people who help us, who make up the managers of the communication wing of the presidency and the entire government of Ghana, nobody has given us any goods and services. Nobody has given us any capital expenditure. This is my office. I don't need any capital expenditure again for this, my office. The office just before this one is where 2 administrative staff of mine operate. And together with them and the other people I've mentioned, we manage government communication offices. So we've not been given any goods and services. We've not been given any capital expenditure. The goods and services and capital expenditure, making up 78 million, belongs to ISD. That has 1,309 employees. Ghana Broadcasting Corporation with 1,115 civil servants. And the Ghana News Agency with 133 civil servants. We do know that the MPP used to operate slush funds. So if in their time, they use such monies on propaganda to pay people to abuse political opponents and spread falsehood about them. That is their own business. But we have no such operation going on. And therefore, I thought it was necessary to engage you, the good people of Ghana, to understand the issues so that you are able to know that Gideon Boakon is peddling falsehood in a desperate effort to provide excuses for the wanton waste that they superintendent in this country. And that is why you, the people of Ghana, voted them out and gave the mandate to President Mahama. He is committed to using your resources judiciously so that you will find that it is possible to achieve a lot with fewer people. And since he became president, he has demonstrated that. So we'll continue to keep.
For spokesperson to the president, Minister of State Communication at the presidency, right? Yeah. Near after budget, no. Natural say, Devine.
Oh, only, sir. Bread to a budget in so, but answer on one fellow for Sukacha same we are working. I think say time yours. And if NDC for be koswa ayo mujumedi say ya see ejuma be simple.
Okay.
Because on senya quickly no wa babonti wa be chechire ma wa react to diffuse the kind of propaganda na MPP for person omunye say omo time office of the president, this is the amount of money almost spending and eba this NDC for the no omo increase no ma see and na kosoro astronomically sisi ano wa be chechire mu am yehu
omo ka ye cut budget allocation to the presidency. So from 126 omo de ba 80 no budget allocation to the presidency no was around 8.5 billion, 8 billion thereabout. And now moment so say mu 60 ministers no krano. When say 60 do is omo ye 56. Si kana ekwo 60 ministers no per Gideon no money one mom ka ho no nsem no mo kana kire say 80 no was around 8 billion but 60 no age 11.5 billion.
And I may be say your mom be set records in the street. It's a shame on say yeah fashion koka office of the president office of the president budget no increase ye. In shame more there ban say ministries now mu collapse ya sisi na 60 billion. Amu civil servant one man no ye ejuma for honum. For example, special initiative friends a directorate almost set na how akumsi e was no it was under office of the president yengu no mo ho or CGBC for one staff over 1,000 sankrofoni nyina e ho honum mo ministry of information kwa 76 directors including others even GNA Ghana News Agency for kwa they are over 1,000 plus. All these things no see they were even under ministry of information. See that ministry doesn't exist again. What you mean guys have for ministry exists in Tomunkofi? They are civil servants. They are still working, but because the ministry doesn't exist, the number be share the budget no aba be share under the office of the president. So ne be ye be kita for such people. Again, also the church mu by send the office wo see o wo de 78 million cedis and a baby bomb wako man to us there be the no yeah the GBC for no former Ministry of Information staff any GN any other people nina ababe share of under Ministry of baby on was the under the office of the president into into emoluments and then remuneration salaries or money so once the answer we na e say quickly no mababonti no mababe chechiri momo nyo madwin say omu yi money. Because imagine say a whole minister so only less than 7 people in the office here Juma.
Yes, a man 78 million Ghana cedis.
And we be chechiri say nyiska ko ni kotoko. Sika amudi tutua GBC staff ne for
on say first no nka budget no say den ye kan no enka Dr. Force ato Force kwagina hwe no budget allocation to the presidency no enko be ma into details also ko be broaden no wa wide na wa kire say bia ti say ye kan say information ministry gu information ministry na kasa won adwuma yefo yeah
Ministry of National Security egu Ministry of National Security eni ho it be NI for I say o me NIB any omo other agencies are narrating no omo nyina omo nja omo adwuma no ye omo wo staff wo ho nti omo nyina ba be she under the office of the president nti enye sika foforo a obi akotwade abebe hye mu so de
enye sika foforo sika na ye twa ko ye ne de adwuma ye
kwa ye no
ba first ne ente sa
first ne ente sa etika sa budget na omo de be ma 76 directors ka obi ebe mo obi aka si an obi ani sa aka ne bio yen kos fuele obi aka bio so nkochi go ministry ni ho first no ka minister for national security no ho no I'll take or in charge of BNI ne de keka ho no sisi a sa ministry ni ho into oni first special assistant oni car oni driver oni say into all these things na sa cost cutting measures mo de go akwan mu. I think say is okay now. I mean core budget na mo asu bio on say President John Dramani Mahama, despite the kind of economy we inherit here, in a very, very bad state, you know. Some of the promises of the Magana for no, or diso, na miami de, dedi kind, on sa sanitary pada, or say, or the Bema and Maiwa, our Moko school, send a beya who need DSM, and they send the Beshomo, the papa, because in your no man in him situation, most of them, especially school going for no, what they go through every month bia nti no and also ya dia mete ye na mete and na mesanso TBO say levy no o twam no na no so ya dia masom de because na okay say be catch say levy no ba Ghana problem na be solve but say am no ka say levy ba no utimu say yen problem papa bia solve okay say some catch say levy ba yen kwa IMF eno ya jitu mu an de ko IMF no okay say omusi levy ba contractors outstanding debt o nyina de betua contractors for car e be create more than 4 million jobs ama use so de nyina levy ba ya mamba ye hwe so otimu say botaya na esi so esi edi yes levy na kasa no ya benefit from it wetwam no ya de papa na wusie tax no sa emission tax na esi no so ye twam no eno so eye ade a na mete ya eye manage na osanso beka ose betting tax ye twam eno so ya sem papa but eno akire no nchi wa hyewa e ba ya ama aye me nwanwa eni se MPP fo ntomu suro nyame former minister for finance sa akire wie ya ye oye bi fasting oye sure so oye bi because untimi nya fasting this holy man Timusa soon didn't trust you and dia koshi say and your press conference and can't check Ghana for say betting tax more implement just say man take Ghana for betting tax omo mutemi a omo investors or betting munu they will tell you unya di no ni ato unya di no ni ato even for sometimes who deposit credit also to sika na minister bejina onum say want you be tax odi yemfa ne saa it is scan na yatete investors no more betting scan we who kai say even pono the first 3 months after August no year October mu GRA be catch say omotie mobilize almost 60 billion Ghana cedis in terms of betting tax who kai so mekai all these things in na one and be catch inti ora Dr. Bawumia ba no so be abolish betting tax no na ka betting tax be na obe abolish wa bra o implement ye. Let's ask these questions. Inti sana ma nyina utimu say sa 1956 1960 politics na mo ye ne propaganda ne omutum futuro gu nkrofo anim se sia no hwe imebu na ma omaba no mo pedite so e no mo ye discerning utumi fa bibia mba na ombetungu from amu na say omefa wo sa again ade ba ku bi nso a mete say ye ba be ye me debut and say na aban ebe introduce new taxes or be increase tax na or rent mining rent and so no or say from 1% at they call 3% because no the price of a raw mat good year of no especially gold oil no on the world market no cost ro bien benefit royalties in baby ejina it no say mining companies for no nya ho fa so bebre dia yen so ye etima mufo Yes, so I see a benefit be to me if 1% ako 3%. How much is a best significant? It's a nominal coin.
Mining companies.
Yeah. The associate me debut say introduction of road tolls almost answer the bebano.
Okay.
Say it's not about just the tolls make a common about employment be creative. Ama enkrofo bia no and emite especially persons with disabilities are no money this boots no at least omu nyina ansa ebe call ma no mo saba eno so ya de amete ya na emite. So in a nutshell no oka nyama nyina President John Dramani Mahama e kan wansem and as a finance minister de beto dwa e budget ni mu a emu ehwiam e yensem a me dem expect say it shall come to pass na eboshe bi ewo mu bia no yenyamu ne de a ewo because okay say a former health minister a NHI
former
NHIA National Health Insurance Authority a direct a CEO MP former MP Okoboy unim say na NHIL National Insurance Levy no ya de cap atoso inti no senior NHIS assess sa funds no edema nkrofosha aresano in terms of claims payments near him na mpa ibi wo no ma omo reach threshold na omo to me entuetu asa claims no extended services ma Ghana for sisi omo so muji so the be betumi expand service
but Devine unim se sa na ma we nyina ya ka ba oba na se ne wo besi a kire wo se nyina na ye atirimodin because ya ye national health insurance and ya ye levy so ya jeje tuon kakran nti wo se okokoto ne ma bi na wo je receipt a health insurance levy e wo so yes can ye boa no purposely ya dey run the affairs of this way say policy na ya introduce no aside service providers they dey etua no any wo other affairs and then wo ba ya pen wo so wa cap no e dey akwaje bosia loan and then the account so kura no a ya gigye na kwakoto Bank of Ghana ho no a
consolidated fund
ya kwakoto a uyi bi na de aye ne awope. So the rationale behind that policy no levy na ye no
yenya so
so
get fund the same thing
get fund what better get fund several all this time rather than and get fund ya ne purposely say
for
infrastructure education wo ba ya get fund no me kra the last na me ka say wo ba introduce sa senior high school free senior school policy eja ma ye ya wo so na wo ye no na what say calculation say get fund sika say kra na bia ye increase no kra by this percentage kra see the year free senior higher Ghana for kasa at the end of the day no ye di rem ye complain say bia food shortage en kra nya baby na say num ni ade and afensu kra infrastructure no ho ayedin eju the ye increase no kra by bia this percentage Ghana for better but wo ba ye na no wo wa cap no de akwaji loan wo de kwaji loan a ye hu ni a wo de ye Africa kra no so beba na wakoto futuo mu nso no a muyi bi na mo de ye ne amope
na ye the same thing om de ye Esla no Esla na omu complaining say energy sector debt no we say mobilize almost 64 billion so can it me account for. Okay,
the last time na President Mahama mo kadono say bia o ma revise on books there because o ka say Esla ya generate 45 billion and na eka eda ho no mo no energy sector ni nyina 70 billion ECG die atwa mu 60 billion omo kono eka wo mu jae no na 10 billion enti ne omo ye Esla no
se be clear kan
se be ya e be clear ekano Esla no kwa no omo ye for a period o
yes bia yes e ka wi a 2024 we ki wi atua and omo de koje busia e culturalize Esla no to 2035 itom da koje busia omo de koje busia se ka o de energy sector e koje busia se ka o ji ska no de be share energy sector na de clear kan no omo fa be ship and diverted
and energy sector no so kwa na wo beto ye no de na wo se wo predecessor ye wo energy sector ho bia no wa ye de wo se wo tutu bia yi watoto mo se necessary capacity enya afa na bia mo ko Dubai na se take na sa koto
generation challenge bia ni ho
bia de aya ne se bia say ye the export in Kenya e the mema neighboring countries and in excess capacity ana mo Kenya no kwa mo se yese mo boy and e bia mo expanding process no e de kokokoya ne ye hwe unim na me call a friend say Benin e ko fa jewelries ni ne ma na me call de o pe jewelries pa de Benin but time wa 2014 mu hono no dum so crisis no e mu ye den pa no udu hono ma no ube se nwumre bia 6 abono mo dum light ana udu daytime obo so mo no ka se Ghana
de Ghana no meka say your friend is Sonabel
yes enti won so banye se bia wo ye ene expansion project bia e was accrue that economy to one
energy sector
so wo kwaji wo cape Esla edikokwaji lu ese $1.5 billion wo de buy no e bia wo de aye project bia
da bi say kan ka petua wan hwe unim say omo create ye no omo create ye no mo lutu ska no na ka imagine hwe omo buy no ma contract under ECG no mo award frivolous contracts enye bi na ote John Jinapo asem ya okay ya containers almost 3,000 ECG egu omu wia ne private person akwakoyi no abeton asama ECG
omu auction
yes omu auction na private person abeton
ECG asakwa koton
omu koton 100,000 na abeton ma ECG $300,000 Ghana ni no ye ya esika o na je me ya ne say omu yesa na mawe na o ECG ati ho ya oboka o ECG every year bi omu so omu boka o na ECG enya sika so yeah, a corporate social responsibility. No koto motorbikes. No so the kako donate. Wow, boka no.
Me bisa Benjamin Sianse. Aside the ECG nkane anu a omo je kwakoton no. Omo other business bi omo run ana. Because ase omama Ghana for ase kane no kra ne ye use ni free illegal. Ena nkane no kwa moton no munya sika no munya sika.
Azas kana no mu dihwe Kofi Akpalu the contest LPG
Kofi Akpalu
so no so man the contract ni bi
enti na nse no o ka se Mohammed timi nti obi antum
omo man the contract 10 million some men no Kofi so e wa another platform na make catch them all these people ni na on benefit here no na mu MPP fo mu o sika mo dey support political party fund bia Akpaluko contest election 5,000. Na me years as president the 5,000 kra me nyabro.
Na no me say say Kenya Japan so yere. Street lights contract on demand over $100 million.
Nina. You way. See all these things have happened.
Na a friend say Ameri Power ya the $5 million ne buy ya di kosi Kumasi 35 million dollars. But at the end of the day no nim dentia em say na say me ECG pa ya ma homete ne say Devine last year the way Ghana for egusu sesi a e suffer about electricity bills no
hwe o electricity bills a mama ka asem kire ECG ho na omo me see ECG the whole institution a crime scene a crime area sebi me ni nsan obi aba kronfo no do so chen ni papa no e wo ECG ho no hwe yenyi politics nto nchen unim se nkrofo bi wo no me technocrats a omo de omo pen wo ho no no mo de wi o man sika they do nothing me wo ho no mo e na madam fo bi frame me catch me say o you prepaid every month be auto credits 200 cedis 250 cedis ono kwanete single room o you TV any fan pe no air condition hwe ni ho o sorry ba one day ya ni meter no auto credit I saw the cut 12,000 Ghana cedis o si boy e no de share me nsa unim say o adenta honum side me ankasa me di project de share me sa na me call dodo wa
aka wa hada
hwe ukodu honum a ECG for I'm telling you people are paid for nothing no munya hwe ukotu dodo wa honum a obekọ honum abeka say emergency center here for operation obekọ network nya juma obekọ na say unim say me do honum a me confronting for the catch say nipa na mo si wo de cut 12,000 no ma be check ni meter ma be check fie na otim be bi wo no because prepaid and postpaid o nti anya de o de Canada o tuatua ne ka efi papa ba kwa no na system no nye na sisia no esia no affairs are regularize as sanitizing into no ne bill no na me see that it can be the bill be hwe
because prepaid
na be hwe bia nipa no ete me see to get somebody to come and even look as say me nante me call up and down would say finally one of the district coordinators no buy or be whom baby, send an amount to no rather them who say, and then we and not 12,000. A whole man will try the two because it didn't make sense. And I later I'm finding out, and I'm being not knowing, you know. Say auditors for baby rounder. This can so administrative costs, your production costs, and at the end of the day, you know, and so to me declare how much you made and what declare because there should be no deficit. Wouldn't so more this can administratively no more canning in every year, maybe I'm books, you know, echo higher. No more per coin so check.
Sikano a cano
mama dino almost chegu customers for so into better so now the car into be realize I go ECG almost a brand new income. Yeah.
Almost bet you are
saying into yes or bet you let us say on their record no no yeah they share book musa the ECG ska we dino no they share diano into ya drin na bom almost about no pepe sampa ECG for na ya juma and so kronoa and na workers for no go.
Devine say wo Ghana ha na wote say yesi ECG for koye ebe start operation sa omo nkrofo no mkwa abonto no mu bosi se omo koye operation e bia se ode car hwese wo betua na omo be ye operation wo be hu say ECG officials na omo kwa abonten ko check bita ko dwitwa light mu ni ade no na omo bosi Divine because say ye week project na omo ya ho by the time a omo be wie no na sika omo hwie no oni me kotena ba bi wodo me ho na me call ya na apartment na a student fo bi omo gigigi apartment mi omo nu mo air condition AC ni so sa so I was like ni nyina so ye prepaid me say nti omo de me to 200 na ekọ me to 200 hwem na ekọ me kwa na me kokoto na me dia ba begu so eti ECG for starting operation omo ba afi on Divine je say me tabu bo ho no nyina bi on me ka wo so 20,000 18,000 15,000 unu ma de omo ye mu betu asen enti do 20,000 was menya 3,000 no maji no ma ko fa meter foforo aba no maji meter no sika 8,000 the 18,000 was me dem sika 2,000 no omo tu meter no na omo boaboa no sa ade ate say ECG for ATC abontia operation
me see dodowa omo mutiminka look you can dodowa district unu man na dodowa teman abokobi oyarefa otinibi ediko omu nyina ya na dodowa e ba denta nyina o na okudu office wona akohwe workers egu wonu mu problem ba nobody cares the disrespect the disregard obia nobody cares me one Ghana sika etu amka and yes mun provide service imagine say yes prepaid ukoto credit to yes tua ye po ya ba ban bosia so fa manage because credit dey nya yes no etua hoka at the end of the day no be ban yes wo de ka
na ECG account baako 84
wa bra yes
emre bi meti se kwa mi sifa kan ya ka say ECG account no prepaid ni bi wono mu ayeto a ekogu obi account
ho
wasi me tie sa de wasi ECG prepaid na ye totua no
Maminka
kogu obi account mu direct
won aban we won MPP aban dada no won say na omo complaining about taxes ni bia mahama say otwam a won say nuisance tax no because some of the taxes no they were not accounting accounting for na a control for private movement mu into won say na up to now no as part of the transitional you know moment to me and declare betting as part of the common crew says can coin
me and declare okay so because me and declare na I mean Adam Becca yes
say the book na nim
but unfortunately for them no na Jerry and so declare first man sika
and me see omu book no dey send obe hu paper ne so but ye dey share the whole person ni mu na ayera ye dey share the whole person ni mu na ayera system ni mu that is Ghana for you
ye were early days but kwabena kasem we and many Benjamin Sie Kasa Wakai Divine Yabubo figures na che. The awoka say betting no anchor a yimi. Say Obina na ye in charge. I was so answer questions. ECG containers 3,000 years see where ya. Energy minister say ECG warehouse. And near ma one more dear as some wa omu news finally. I was some for answer questions. Now power Ghana ha. ECG board chairman your friend say e wo Ghana ha afenyo marking wo Ghana ha do big wo ho ne predecessor do be ye so kura e wo ho I was say your friend for former answer because you ain't continue my ordinary Ghanaian tongue so end so foul. Now politicians ain't one say, Omo ya na for Omo ya nua for nano. Na anu ya ayi. Kwame me send picture bi Maria sorry ba mo fan to so ye no ne de pon. Ayi Dr. Atta forcing. Ekwa ready budget wi. Picture bi a Kwame fa to so na Ghana fo nhwe. Hwe. Chese woni afenyo marking pa no. Esi obi ne girl.
You amudi fufu no.
There be na no Tuesday ye.
Na ni made am me ya say last time me bet.
Wo finance minister ni afenyo marking aho. As obi ne girlfriend hag pa.
You see, and na ya make say, onim say Adeba kwa me remind President John Dramani ma.
Hwe. Wo di eni hwe. Ah hwe. Ene da so hwe. Finance
oh na de amudi fufu no hu ye.
Na hu but hwe sticker o say Juan Steven amwa kura wa ba na nu me ye ne nwanwa.
Unim.
She the real finance minister any afenyo marking hag kwani twi ye dey kra
omu ya tu
atu pa kire say enti sese no ebe da na sa kwa yi anu ye board chairman ema ECG no ya fena bebisa ne say adenti na ye import containers 3000 esi ewia so wotem habo
on say na make a choice say President John Dramani mama yan to aba man so be father for even pen so be father ye the oman adwumati na ahye ne say on be bu oman no and this MPP ni NDC people no in parliament they are behaving like they are cronies they are omo the same people are omo dey we scratch me back and we scratch him see NDC for nim number mistake number said my brother she say na Ghana for any brain when NDC former Ghana for elusu hopa the political class they will run ombe munechi wa Ghana say because omo elusu hopa na ifa bi oni eko mo e ditu ya shemu say mo nchichi nkrofo na mo machi mama yen no say mo ntimi an deal with them mo hage mo ho na mo ma mo ho fifia no
hage mo ho and they be figures na mo bobo de kire figures maka kire mo say after do ye ntie figures bi mo don Devine kroma me da say next Kwame kwache na afensu social media wa to me nya hunu din me da mu nyina se afa abusua ye ntwa ye ho na ye mra.
Give us P capsules. A memory. Manum bia ye benmua. Kani me tutu ya na me nkuma bo asese de. Betro esa kum me nia G. Give us P capsules.
Give it to me, baby.
Give us core capsules so e.
E man me nyina akoko yade. Sisi yade amama nya yem timotete wo mo no. Yedru no. Manum bi amama de me ho.
Give us core capsules. Me sisi mo ye din. Give us core capsules.
I give it to you, baby. You give it to me.
Oh yeah.
Hey, give us in no. A man need ya bebusiemu papa. Na bemaka give us P capsules. And ni give us core capsules bomunum dia. Na eni jeni ahwodeno.
Wa brudo.
Give us P capsules.
A man na wadi infedu wa twede kronkwan na efa.
Give us core capsules.
A painful abatan wo mo manufuo ne nkwada wo ne infedu mienu nka ho. E wo drugstore bia motifo nko Give us Herbal Center, Teshi Mobile. And na Teshi Adriami. Phone numbers 0543 222 470 and 050-68-51135.
FDA AJ Edwedi Nkratui Atum.
Upgrades are nice, but stepping up is woohoo! Because when you upgrade with GoTV, we'll step you up to the next package. Upgrade today to get more than more with Step Up, where if you're
PENDREAM TV now so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.